What happens when border guards find a smuggled smartphone? 4 North Korean soldiers discovered footage that their government spent decades hiding, and it changed everything. In exclusive testimony never before shared with Western media, Sergeant Kang Min-soo reveals how a single YouTube video exposed the lies of a lifetime. From starvation rations to public executions, this is the inside story of life on North Korea's front. Lines told by men who risk death to escape it. For more exclusive testimonies that challenge official narratives, subscribe and become part of our investigative community. These stories need to be heard. It all started like this. July 2024, along the Tumen River in Musan County, North Hamgyong Province. I was a sergeant at a GOP outpost on the front line. My name is Kang Min-soo. I was 25 at the time. I'd dreamed of being a soldier since I was a kid, and I'd already served 7 years. My grandfather fought as a People's Army soldier in the Korean War. Maybe that's why I wanted to be a soldier too. Our outpost overlooked the Tumen River. On clear days, we could see lights from Chinese villages across the water. Some nights, I swear we could smell food from the Chinese side, carried by the wind. But we just stood guard. That was the job. There were 4 of us in the squad, all hometown friends. Sergeant Kim Chul-ho, Park Jun-young, Lee Sung-hoon, and me. We enlisted together in 2017, small-town kids from Musan who ended up serving together. It made things easier. We stick together till discharge. That was our promise. That morning started like any other. Up at 6 for roll call. Breakfast was a bowl of corn porridge. Rice is like gold in North Korea these days. We were lucky to get corn porridge. Some days there wasn't even that. Morning patrol was border duty. Part of our job was catching smugglers. Goods from China came across the Tumen all the time: rice, medicine, electronics. We were supposed to stop them. Honestly, hard to feel good about busting someone for smuggling rice when your own stomach's empty. Around 10 that morning, we spotted movement in the brush along the river. Something's there. Chul-ho saw it first. The 4 of us ran over. A smuggler bolted, leaving a bundle behind. Inside, a bag of rice and several smartphones. The rice had to go up the chain, but the phones, we weren't sure what to do. Jun-young spoke carefully. Should we turn one on? We looked at each other. Even touching a smartphone could get you punished, but curiosity got the better of us. What was in these tiny devices that people risked their lives smuggling? Let's take them back to the outpost. We'll check tonight. I made the call. I was the squad leader. That evening, the 4 of us sat together. My hand shook as I pressed the power button. The battery was still alive. The screen lit up in Chinese, but Korean apps were installed too. This is YouTube. Sung-hoon said it quietly. We didn't know much about YouTube except that people in South Korea watched it. Scrolling through, we found saved videos. One title caught my eye: Korean military training. We looked at each other. Let's watch it. Know your enemy, right? Chul-ho justified it, but we were all curious. What did the South Korean military look like? Were they really as weak and incompetent as we'd been taught? We hit play, and we couldn't speak. The screen showed healthy, confident rock soldiers. Physical fitness tests, 20 pull-ups each, running without breaking a sweat. We struggled with 5 pull-ups. We didn't have the strength. Hunger will do that. The next video hit harder. A South Korean military cafeteria. Bulgogi, kimchi stew, white rice, fruit, milk. The screen filled with food. Soldiers were eating and laughing. Jun-young whispered, "That's military food." None of us could answer. I thought about the bowl of corn porridge we'd had that day. Actually, yesterday we didn't even get that. We'd gone hungry. Sung-hoon looked in a mirror and touched his stomach. We can see all our ribs. He was right. We were all skin and bones, short, underweight. I was 5'6", 115 pounds. Can you picture how thin that is? Chul-ho stared at the screen. Are we really this weak? That question silenced us all. Our whole lives we'd been taught. The Korean People's Army is the world's strongest. We were told the American imperialists and South Korean puppets are paper tigers. But the soldiers on that screen looked healthier, better fed, and happier than us. I couldn't sleep that night. My head was spinning. Everything I'd believed felt shaky. We were the best army in the world, that's what they said. But those South Korean soldiers we were supposed to see as enemies, they were living better than us. Was any of this right? Through the window, I could see the Tumen River. Across it, Chinese village lights burned bright. A thought hit me. One river. That's all that separates us. Jun-young was awake too. He spoke quietly. What are we really guarding? I had no answer. I was thinking the same thing. We were told we guarded the border, protected the homeland, but we were starving, weak, with no future ahead of us. What exactly were we protecting? The next morning, the four of us ate corn porridge in silence, but we all knew it. Something had changed inside us after watching that video. Chulho set down his bowl and sighed. What will we have left? After 10 years of this? North Korean men served 10 years. We'd already done 7. 3 more to go. 3 more years like this, hungry, exhausted, with no future? We didn't know it then. That smartphone we found would change our lives completely, and soon we'd face a choice that would risk everything. The Tumen River flowed quietly, but inside us something had begun to stir. That smartphone became our secret. Every night during guard duty, we'd gather and watch videos. At first, it was curiosity. What does South Korea look like? Are they really starving like we were taught? We had to know. But the more we watched, the more shocking it became. Everything we'd been taught was a lie. One night, Chulho found a video, Rock Special Forces training. The moment he hit play, we were transfixed. Those soldiers wore full combat gear and ran through mountains without breaking stride. We got winded just carrying our packs. Are they even human? Sung-hoon muttered. Unbelievable. Same Korean people. How could they be so different? The equipment shocked us more. South Korean soldiers carried K2 rifles, cutting-edge weapons, night vision, body armor, ballistic helmets, like something from a movie. And us? Rusted AK rifles, helmets with holes in them, threadbare uniforms. No comparison. Junyoung looked at our rifles and sighed. These are from our grandfather's time. It was true. Our AK rifles were made in the 1950s. Half the time, the rounds didn't even fire. During training, we barely got to shoot live ammunition. Bullets were too valuable. But in the South Korean videos, they trained constantly. Rounds fired freely. We shot maybe once or twice a year. Look at this. Chulho pulled up another video. A South Korean military mess hall. We watched, barely breathing. Heaping plates of bulgogi, white rice, kimchi stew, salad, fruit, milk, even ice cream for dessert. The soldiers smiled and said, "Today's meal is great." I thought about what we'd eaten that day. A bowl of corn porridge. Actually, not even a full bowl. Rations had been cut, so 2 of us split 1 bowl. Tears ran down Sung-hoon's face. That's military food. What we've been eating isn't even food. None of us spoke. Our chests felt heavy. We were soldiers. Soldiers are supposed to defend the nation. But we couldn't even eat properly. The next day, something worse happened. At morning roll call, the company commander made an announcement. Senior Sergeant Choi from our platoon had tried to desert. He'd been caught. This afternoon, there would be a public execution. Our faces went pale. Sergeant Choi was a good man. His family was starving. He'd gone looking for rice and got caught. 2 p.m. The entire unit assembled in the yard. Sergeant Choi was tied to a post. His eyes brimmed with tears. "Comrades, this is the fate of those who betray the homeland." Gunfire cracked. Sergeant Choi fell. I closed my eyes. Beside me, Junyoung was fighting back nausea. That night, the 4 of us sat in the outpost. No one spoke. After a long silence, Chulho broke it. Sergeant Choi was just trying to save his family. He was right. Your family's starving. Are you supposed to just stand there because you're a soldier? But our army answered that with a firing squad. I pulled the smartphone from my pocket. I remembered the South Korean military video. They get leave once a month. They go home, see family, eat good food. We don't even get home once a year. Sung-hoon muttered. True. We'd applied for leave last year. Denied due to unit needs. Same story this year. Junyoung looked at the phone. South Korean soldiers. Only serve 18 months. We served 10 years. We had no words. 18 months versus 10 years. More than 6 times the difference. South Korean young people serve less than 2 years, then go to college, get jobs, live their lives. We rot here for 10 years. Chulho clenched his fist. What are we even protecting? Is any of this right? No one could answer. We were taught we protected the homeland, protected the people. But the people were starving, soldiers couldn't eat, and deserters got shot. Was this worth protecting? I looked out the window. Chinese lights glowed across the Tumen River, and somewhere beyond that, South Korea. The South Korea from those videos, where soldiers ate well, had modern equipment, and went home on leave. Listen, I started carefully. We're all Korean, aren't we? The 3 of them looked at me. They understood. We're Korean. Those people down south are Korean. Why is it so different? Chulho nodded. My grandfather said we used to be one country, split by the Korean War. We all knew that. We were once united. Same language, same blood. Then war tore us apart. Over 70 years of separation. Is this the result? One side well-fed and free, the other starving and watched? Jun-young suddenly looked up from the phone. Look at this. The screen showed a news article. Severe malnutrition in North Korean military. South Korean media. The article said North Korean soldiers averaged 5'3", around 110 pounds. Sung-hoon looked down at himself. That's us. He was right. We were those statistics. I was 5'6", 115. Chul-ho was 5'5", 110. All of us malnourished. South Korean soldiers averaged 5'9", 155 pounds, 4 inches taller than us, 45 pounds heavier. It's the food, Chul-ho whispered. Exactly. Eat properly, you grow like that. We'd been underfed since childhood. That's why we were small and weak. Can you imagine a country where soldiers can't even eat? People sworn to defend the nation starving. That was North Korea. After that night, we changed. How we saw the world changed. Before, we just followed orders. We believed we protected the homeland, served the supreme leader. But now we understood. We weren't protecting the homeland, we were protecting the regime. We weren't serving the people, we were serving the powerful. A seed took root inside us. We have to get out of here. After seeing that smartphone, our daily routine became torture. Every bowl of corn porridge reminded us of South Korean military meals. Every time we put on our worn uniforms, we thought of the clean digital camo the Iraq War. Lying awake at night, hungry, all we could think was, they're eating well over there. By August 2024, things got worse. One morning, the company commander made an announcement. Rations are being cut in half temporarily. We were already short on food. Cut in half? How are we supposed to survive? Comrades, this is revolutionary military spirit. We must grow stronger on less food. The commander shouted it, but despair filled the soldiers' eyes. I looked at Chul-ho. He was already nothing but bones. If he ate even less, he might actually die. That evening, the 4 of us gathered at the outpost. Jun-young pulled something from his pocket and divided it 4 ways. A few kernels of corn each. My mother came to visit. She snuck these to me. I've been saving them to share with you. We put those precious kernels in our mouths. Chewing slowly, tears came. I could feel his mother's love. She must have saved these while starving herself just to give them to her son. My mother's been really sick lately, Jun-young said quietly. There's no money for medicine. She sells things at the market, but business is terrible. In North Korea, even if you go to the hospital, there's no medicine. You have to buy smuggled Chinese medicine at the market, and it's expensive. Where would people get that kind of money? Our parents' generation at least got rations when they were young. Now even those are gone. Sung-hoon sighed. My father has black lung. Spent his whole life in the coal mines. Now he can barely breathe. Chul-ho's situation was similar. My brother works in the mines. Could have an accident any day. No safety equipment. We were all the same. Our family suffering. Starving, sick, doing dangerous work with no way out. I thought of my mother. She sold tofu at the market. If the inspectors caught her, they'd confiscate everything and fine her. But she kept selling. The alternative was starvation. Listen, I spoke carefully. After 10 years here, what will we have? Heavy silence. We'd already served 7 years. 3 more to go. 3 more years of hunger, pain, and despair? Even after discharge, there's nowhere to go, Sung-hoon said. True. What does North Korea offer after military service? No jobs, no rations, no future. You get assigned to a coal mine or a farm and suffer there until you die. In South Korea, Jun-young pulled out the smartphone. After discharge, they go to college, get jobs, live their own lives. We looked at the screen. Photos of young South Koreans. College students laughing on campus, office workers at their jobs, friends drinking coffee at cafes. Those people are our age, Chul-ho muttered. Then we heard a scream outside. We rushed out to find a soldier from the next outpost collapsed. Private Kim, a 20-year-old kid, passed out from malnutrition. The medic came but could do nothing. No medicine, no nutrition supplements, just water and rest. Another one's going to die, the medic sighed. Last year, 3 soldiers in our unit died from malnutrition. Men in their 20s dying because they couldn't eat. That night, none of us slept. Chul-ho spoke first. Min-soo, we can't keep living like this. I felt the same. Keep going like this, we'd end up like Private Kim. Or like Sergeant Choi shot for deserting. I'll be honest. I gathered my courage. I want to leave. Junyoung and Sung-hoon nodded. They felt the same. Leave and go where? Chulho asked. But he already knew. South Korea. I said it clearly. Could we go to South Korea? We saw the videos. They accept North Korean defectors. Chulho thought for a long moment, then nodded. I've thought about it too. But how? That was the problem. Cross the Tumen River, you're in China. Get caught in China, they send you back to North Korea. Then it's over. Public execution. First we cross into China then. We find the South Korean embassy, Junyoung said, looking at the phone. There are cases here of defectors reaching Chinese embassies and making it to South Korea. We looked at the screen. Many North Koreans had reached South Korea that way. Dangerous but not impossible. All four of us go together, Sung-hoon said. I'm scared to go alone. We go together. Even if we die together. My chest felt warm. We'd been friends since childhood, enlisted together. Now we'd defect together. Chulho held out his hand. All right, the four of us go. Nobody gets left behind. We all make it. Promise. We stacked our hands on top of his. 4 hands together. We promise. We go together. In that moment, we decided we'd risk everything to escape this hell. But there were problems. How do we prepare? When do we leave? What route? We prepare slowly, I said. If we rush and get caught, it's over. Even if it takes months, we do it right. From that day, we began planning in secret. Act like normal soldiers during the day. Prepare to defect at night. The Tumen River kept flowing. But now we saw it differently. Not a river of despair, a path to hope. Preparing to defect was harder than we thought. We were frontline border guards. Ironically, our job was stopping defections. Now we were planning one ourselves. Absurd. But that also meant we knew things others didn't when there were gaps, where to slip through. September 2024. We began in earnest. Chulho analyzed the shift schedule. He was the smartest of us. He filled a notebook with a week's worth of guard rotations, looking for patterns. 2 to 4 a.m. That's the gap, he whispered. That's when shifts overlap. Outgoing and incoming squads doing handoff. Everyone's distracted. That's our window. I studied the terrain. Our outpost to the Tumen River about 500 meters. Barbed wire fencing in between, minefields too. But we stood guard so we knew the safe paths. Junyoung's job was measuring the river depth. Every patrol he'd eyeball it, sometimes test it with a stick. By October, the water level would drop. Waist deep at most. Sung-hoon gathered intel on the Chinese side. Stories from smugglers, what he saw through binoculars of Chinese villages. He memorized it all. About 2 miles across the river, there's an ethnic Korean village, Sung-hoon said. We can find help there. Those Koreans speak our language. Money was another problem. We'd need money to survive in China. Enlisted soldiers like us didn't get paid, but we had to scrape something together. When I went home on leave, I spoke privately to my mother. Mother, I need money. My mother was perceptive. She looked into my eyes, then handed me a gold ring without a word. Sell this. And tears welled in her eyes. Do what you need to do. I'll be all right. She knew. She understood I couldn't die here. I hugged her. Mother, I'll make a good life and come back to see you. She patted my back. We stayed like that for a while, then she pulled away. Don't tell your father. He wouldn't understand. My father was old school. He believed in the party, the system. If his son defected, he'd never accept it. Back at the unit, I sold my mother's ring at the market. Got about $500,000 won. A lot in North Korean currency. The others scraped together money too. Then something decisive happened. Late September 2024, an urgent order came from command. Issue live ammunition and stand by for South Korean provocation. We received live rounds for the first time. 30 bullets each. If fighting broke out, we were supposed to shoot. That night, the four of us sat together, faces grim. If they really order us to shoot? Junyoung's voice trembled. What do we do? We sat in silence. If war came, we'd have to fire on South Korean soldiers. Shoot our own people because they eat better and live better than us. Chulho looked down at his rifle. I couldn't pull the trigger. Sung-hoon nodded. Me neither. We saw the videos. Rock soldiers are just like us. Why should we kill them? I clenched my fist. We can't wait any longer. We leave soon. That day, we made our final decision. Departure mid-October. Weather would be decent, river levels low. October 15th, 2 a.m. I set the date. That's when shift changes are most chaotic. That's our window. We joined hands. Nobody gets left behind. We all go together. There was a lot to prepare. We needed wire cutters for the fence. I stole a pair from the supply depot. Getting caught would be disaster, but we couldn't get through the fence without them. We saved food, corn cakes bit by bit. We went hungry to save them, but we'd need them after defection. Clothing was an issue too. Military uniforms would stand out. We got civilian clothes, hand-me-downs from visiting families. Sung-hoon obtained Chinese currency, yuan, traded North Korean money with a smuggler. Not much, but better than nothing. Junyoung charged the smartphone battery. We'd need it in China to find our way. Then came the hardest part, saying goodbye to our families. I wrote a brief letter to my mother. Mother, I'm sorry. Forgive your unfilial son. I want a better life. I'll succeed and come back to you. Stay healthy. I gave the letter to a comrade from my village. He'd deliver it after we left. Chulho, Junyoung, and Sung-hoon each wrote letters too. To parents, siblings, words of farewell. Writing those letters, I cried. Our families would suffer under guilt by association. Relatives of defectors get watched, discriminated against, put through hell. But we had to choose. Stay here and die or escape and live. I'm sorry, Mother. Junyoung wept. But I want to live too. We all felt the same. Guilt consumed us, but we had to go. October 14th night. Final check. Wire cutters, food, civilian clothes, Chinese money, smartphone, everything ready. Tomorrow, Chulho said quietly. We looked at each other. Fear in our eyes, but also resolve. We make it to South Korea, I said. We eat well there, live free. And someday we bring our families. Yeah, all three answered at once. We joined hands. 4 hands stacked together. Tomorrow, 2 a.m. Behind the outpost. Got it. That night I couldn't sleep. Tomorrow our lives would change completely. We'd live or die. Through the window I could see the Tumen River, moonlight on the water. Tomorrow we'd cross that river. Please, let us make it safely. I prayed to the sky. October 15, 2024, 150 a.m. My heart hammered. My hands were soaked with sweat, my legs trembling. But there was no turning back. We'd already decided. The 4 of us met in the shadows behind the outpost, all dressed in black civilian clothes, small packs on our backs. Inside corn cakes, water bottles, Chinese money. Ready? Chulho whispered. We nodded. Not so much ready as out of options. 10 minutes till shift change. We moved then. I checked my watch. At 2 a.m., guard shift would start. Outgoing and incoming squads doing handoff, that's when everyone's distracted. That's our window. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3. Time crawled. Or maybe it flew. I looked back at the compound. Somewhere in there were our bunks, our rice bowls, 7 years of memories. I'm scared, Sung-hoon whispered. He was only 23, the youngest of us. It's okay. Chulho gripped his shoulder. We're together. Stay strong. Freedom's just ahead. Freedom. That word moved us. 2 a.m. Go. At my signal, we moved. Bodies low, silent, like shadows. 7 years as soldiers paid off. We knew how to move in darkness. The first obstacle was the fence. 3 meters of barbed wire blocking our path. But we'd prepared. I pulled out the wire cutters. Carefully snipped the fence. Snip, snip. The sound felt deafening. What if someone heard? Hurry! Junyoung watched our backs, urging me on. I was drenched in sweat as I cut through the wire. 1 minute, 2. Finally, a gap big enough for a person. Through! Chulho went first. Then Junyoung, Sung-hoon, and me last. We'd cleared the fence. But that was just the beginning. 500 meters to the Tumen River. We had to run. Run! We bolted into the darkness. My heart felt ready to explode. Couldn't catch my breath, but we couldn't stop. 1 gunshot and we were finished. 200 meters, 300. My legs gave out, but I kept running. Hunger had weakened us, but the will to live drove us forward. Then, halt! A shout from behind. We'd been spotted. Fire! Gunshots. Tat, tat, tat. Bullets whizzed over our heads. Don't stop, keep running, Chulho yelled. We ran like our lives depended on it. I felt bullets cut past. The river. The Tumen River appeared ahead. Moonlight on the ripples. Our hope and our final barrier. Jump! We plunged into the water without hesitation. The cold hit like a punch. October, but it felt like ice. Below freezing. My whole body went numb. Sung-hoon groaned. He was the weakest of us. Sung-hoon, hold on. Junyoung grabbed his arm. We linked hands and started across. Water up to our waists. Rocks on the riverbed stabbed our feet, but we pushed through. More gunfire behind us. Fire a flare. The sky lit up. A flare burst overhead, turning night into day. We were completely exposed. Down. We ducked into the water. Head submerged, holding our breath. Water rushed into my nose, but we couldn't surface. Bullets skimmed the water above us. 10 seconds, 20. I was suffocating. Just a little longer. Hold on. Now, I surfaced, shouting. We pushed forward again. Midstream. Halfway across. Then Sung-hoon slipped. Ah! He went under. The current was pulling him downstream. Sung-hoon! Chulho grabbed him. One arm on Sung-hoon, the other bracing against the riverbed. Don't let go! We stick together! Tears in his voice. We'd promised. Nobody gets left behind. Jun-young and I rushed over and pulled Sung-hoon up. The four of us clung together and kept moving. Gunfire continued behind us, but we didn't stop. We wanted to live. We wanted to be free. Finally, the opposite bank appeared. Chinese soil. Almost there! We squeezed out our last reserves of strength. Through the water, over rocks, stumbling forward. And we climbed onto the bank. China. We did it! Jun-young dropped to his knees, crying. Chulho, Sung-hoon, me, we all cried. Tears of joy. We embraced each other. Freezing, soaked through, but alive. All four of us made it across. I looked back. Lights across the river on North Korean soil. Soldiers scrambling. We weren't there anymore. We weren't those people anymore. We really did it, Sung-hoon said, voice shaking. Yeah, we did. Chulho smiled. The first real smile I'd seen from him in 7 years. What now? Jun-young asked. We get away from here. If the North Koreans contact Chinese border patrol, we're done. We stood. Our bodies trembled, but we had to walk. We had to find an ethnic Korean village. We walked for about an hour. In the distance, lights appeared. A village. There. We headed toward it. Our legs were giving out, but hope kept us going. When we reached the village entrance, we were ready to collapse. Hungry, frozen, exhausted. Help us. Chulho managed. A door opened. An elderly woman stepped out, startled at the sight of us. Oh my, defectors? She spoke Korean, an ethnic Korean. Come in. Quick! She pulled us inside. Stepping into that warm room, I cried. Thank you. We collapsed on the floor. We'd done it. We'd survived. The woman brought warm water and corn porridge. We ate ravenously. The best porridge I'd ever tasted. You poor boys. You've been through so much. She stroked our heads. We kept crying. You're safe now. You're alive. Chulho said it. We joined hands. 4 hands together. We'd kept our promise. Not one left behind. We all made it. Outside, dawn was breaking. A new day. A new life beginning.